It's time for bookkeeping, beer, and BS.
Talk about the new territory element, because that's a whole different business. I mean, we started diving into the insurance side, but let's just go back to the business side. There's a lot that changes. There's a lot of challenges that you're trying to deal with when you move into, specifically when you cross state lines, right? I mean, that's really where things start to go. I mean, how's that starting to shape up for you?
Yeah, so Colorado's the other state we're in. We hired a guy for about a year to run it, and we knew all along he wasn't the guy. He was a guy. And, you know, he can't talk without saying the F word. You know, it's not very customer friendly. And he was a great guy, just he wasn't the right guy. So a few months back, we replaced him with another guy. But I probably didn't tell you this even yet, Dan, but about a month ago, we hired a guy to come in and absolutely run Denver completely. This guy's got a huge salary. He's got a company truck. We even gave him a signing bonus. And he worked for a large VC owned company, and he grew eight locations. So it was like Tampa, Nashville, Dallas, and I don't know the other 5 cities. But he grew each one of those cities to 4 million plus a year in sales. And he did it all in about 3 years. And I don't know how this guy did it. But I'm like, man, I want you on my team. You come work for me. And he's like, I want to live in Denver. This is so crazy that this is happening. So we hired him about a month ago. And it's to be determined. I've spent a lot more money than what we've gotten back so far. But
it takes a minute.
I'm rolling some serious dice that this guy's going to perform.
Yep.
So yeah, and state lines, it's a bit of a flight, you know, from here to Denver's 2-hour flight, which it doesn't sound that bad. It's not like you can drive to it. Like we could drive to Vegas. It's, you know, only 3 hours or so. So
right.
It's a little bit of a challenge.
Yep.
That was the reason why we exited St. Louis, is that there weren't a lot of direct flights, and it was a pain in the butt for me to get there. And we didn't make the ballsy move to go hire that person. We hired some general managers that were good, but they weren't business owner like people. That wasn't like the risk that they sought. We
were at a crossroads where we said we're going to go big or go home. Like, yep. I mean, we did okay in the first year. We did about 350,000, which isn't bad for, you know, the first year starting right out of the gate, no contracts, nothing. Mm-hmm. But we were like, we're either going to go big or go home. And this guy came and I interviewed him. Me and my general manager, Steve, interviewed him. And we were like, where in the world did this guy come from? And you know, my wife, Marilyn, Marilyn's like, no, we don't need anybody else. I'm like, no, you're going to get on the call and you're going to talk to this guy. And she talked to him. She's like, where did you find this guy? And I'm like, I don't know where he came from, but I'm excited. So I don't know. At least he got me sold into it. We'll see how it pans out.
He made one sale. He made at least one sale.
He sold me, that's for sure.
And I think in hindsight, where the business we sold was our St. Louis home cleaning business, and we struggled to grow it. And probably like 2017, we hired a guy, but it was like, he was really like the third string guy. We interviewed 3 people pretty seriously. The guy we really wanted, we made an offer to, and he took a different offer, and we should have made a more aggressive offer. I think if we would have hired him, we would have doubled our business, and we'd still be in that business, and we probably would have like brought him on as a business partner in it. Instead, like the number 2 person ended up not being as good of a number 2 person as we thought. So like we had her come in, and it turns out she lived like an hour away from the office and was super mobile. Like she basically lived in an RV, and her husband like worked on pipelines, and they would hop around all over the place. They just happened to be in St. Louis for like the next year. And I was like, oh, interesting to find this out after like 3 interviews.
So let me ask you this, that number 1 guy you wanted and you didn't offer him enough. This guy, when I interviewed him, I didn't offer him a wage or salary or a signing bonus. I asked him what he wanted.
Yep. And that was, so we got a range from this guy. And we made an offer within the range, but we were too conservative. We should have been more aggressive on that offer.
Yeah.
And then he didn't need a lot. He wasn't asking for the moon. But he gave us a range, and we were, in the middle of that range, and somebody was in the high end of that range, and so we didn't get him.
We asked him what he wanted, and he was pretty close to what I thought he was going to ask. And then I just moved a few other things around. Like he wanted another bonus, and I'm like, look, when you reach this much in sales, then you'll get that bonus.
Yeah.
So I just moved some things around, made it work. But I felt like it was really important that I asked what he wanted. So,
yep, agreed. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work, right? But I do think that role is make or break. In a remote location, if you don't have a good operator there, in my experience, it's going to fizzle. Even if you have super loyal people, just like not everybody is built to grow a business. Some people can run it, but not everybody can grow it.
The difference in Denver too, Corey, is like the guy we had running it didn't, like Mitch, for instance, has worked in our office with us for 8 years. He's a company man. He knows the company culture. He knows everything about our business. The guys we had running Denver for the last year was from Denver. We brought him in here to Phoenix, and he only worked for us for like a month. We couldn't like exactly get the culture in him and everything. He wasn't the right fit. So that's the other thing, is if like I had somebody working here for 8 years and then I sent them to Denver, I wouldn't worry about it. But that's how we did that location. And so now I'm paying for it by paying for a really expensive guy.